We'll hear from them shortly. Meanwhile, Pressure Group Let My Vote Count Alliance is fully in support of the EC's decision to compile a new register, saying the time is now. Tonight we have the latest from the EC's consultations with some selected groups. Also, ACP Benjamin Agojo remains in police custody almost 48 hours after he was granted a self-recognizance bail by an Accra High Court. More from the family on Newsnight. And Health Minister reviews tonight that government is dissatisfied with performance of the National Health Insurance Scheme as reimbursement of claims continue to delay. We have details from a yet-to-be-aired PM Express interview.
And coming up in business, Ghana Stock Exchange closed deal with London counterparts to aid listing and raising funds on the international market.
And later in sports, in our build-up to the super clash between Asante Kotoko and Accra Heart Folk this Sunday, we'll hear from a top Heart official on what he anticipates going into the game. And Black Stars coach CK Akono insists hard work will see Ghana make the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar.
And we'll get more from the Joy News campaign, #ArriveAlive. We hear the chilling story of Deputy Communications Minister George Anda, who survived a bloody accident that nearly claimed his life. We'll hear him as he commits to support the campaign aimed at reducing road crashes in Ghana. And later, the Akan proverb and its sudden popularity this week. All that and more coming up here on Newsnight. Brought to you by Puma Card from Puma Energy. Cash-free convenience. Please join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp is 0244 340 437. Of course, we are also live on Facebook. You can join us there. I am Emefa Apawu. We settle for details now here on Newsnight, and of course I am here with Evans Mensah. In our very first story for tonight,
our position remains unchanged, but we will respect the Electoral Commission if it decides against compiling a new voters register. That's the national organizer of the governing MPP, Sami Ewoko, who is tonight saying they will not disagree if the EC decides to rescind this decision to compile a new voters register. The EC plans to start compiling that register. We now know in April this year, but protests by the inter-party resistance against the new register and opposition by some civil society groups has pushed it to further consult on that decision.
Now, it is unclear if the EC will back down or go through with the plan. The NPP, together with some minority parties, backs the proposal. More on that shortly, but Pressure Group Let My Vote Count Alliance at a news conference today in Kumasi says a new voters register is long overdue. Listen to David Asante, who is the convener.
In fact, for us at Let My Vote Count Alliance, a new voters register is long overdue at Chekwaradodo. New voters register in 2015-2016 by political parties and the Let My Vote Count Alliance, they said no. New voters register in the year 2020 for 2020 elections, they say no. What at all will the NDC, as far as our election reform is concerned, will they say yes to? Nevertheless, the Electoral Commission maintains that a new voters register is necessary in order to ensure credible elections. Prominent among the justification for a new electoral rule is the fact that the data is controlled solely by the vendor and not by the EC. Furthermore, maintenance and operation of the biometric verification device, which hinder the smooth running of the elections, are all technical reasons accused by the Electoral Commission. We are not here as mouthpiece for the Electoral Commission to justify the call by the EC for a new register. We are here as Let My Vote Count Alliance and as a group that has led the call for new register and as a group that has played frontline role in sanitizing our election system to say nothing in our political dispensation can stand in the way of the Electoral Commission decision to compile a new voters register. We support the call. NDC is preparing to get their members to write their names to get new voters' ID card. But they are on the street saying no. Why did the NDC not go to their stronghold to campaign against a new register? At the end of the month, and you won't be a majority of my votes. Every Banamon can tell me, say, one thing at the moment from me, I don't know what you do.
Now, the Electoral Commission today started another round of consultations to get support for a new voters register. The governing NPP position remained unchanged since 2012, but national organizer of the party, Samir Uku, on PM Express last night said they will back down if the EC rescinds its decision to compile a new one.
That the political parties, not the CSOs, have the constitutional right to compile a voters register
the
for the conduct of elections. The EC does. So we can only make our
without
argument
consulting the stakeholders.
Well, but the stakeholder, the IPAC, in fact, even when they go for IPAC more or less has become an advisory body. That doesn't mean whatever IPAC decides must be implemented by the electoral commission.
Yeah, but this was not your position when you were
no, but that is,
you were also
but that is what the NDC told us. That is the EC.
So you're telling them now,
the NDC quoted Article 45 and 91 to us. And in fact, when we read it, we realized that Article 4591 gives the EC the sole right. But then what we then indicated was that if you look at what was happening in the case and in the face of the rulings of the Supreme Court, that of the Abu Ramadan case and that of the election petition case, there was a considerable level of agitation that there should have been a new voters register. But Mr. Mahama, even when it came to changing the EC logo, and people had issues, the president of the land did say that we should leave the EC to do their job and nobody can compel the EC. Today you see that the goalpost has been shifted and the chairs have been swapped. But we have been consistent from our opposition days that we need a credible register and we need anything that can also enhance the tenets of our democracy. Other than that, my fear, and I think that the CSOs, I've heard many of them making quite some good arguments. But the point is that if the election management body is telling you that I have faulty machines, and you are telling me that you can still service them, no problem. They go ahead to try to fix them. On the day of election, you have Mensah and the Joy FM crew saying that machines are broken down here in so-and-so polling station area.
Which will happen even if they buy new ones, because they are machines.
But you can reduce the risk. Well, nonetheless, if they come to consult the NPP in a new round of consultation, because they've done that at the IPAC level, the NPP's position will not change. By the end of the day, the EC doesn't compile a new register. The party doesn't lose anything. For us as a party, we are actively on the ground and ensuring that our people go out and look out for those who are turning 18 and first-time voters.
If the EC rescinds its current decision to compile a new voter register, you're not opposed to it?
Well, we have always held the belief that we need a new voters register. But we don't have the constitutional power to compile to dictate to the EC or to compile a new register.
But I just want to clear
It's in the bottom of the electoral commission.
You understand that? So in the EC, because a lot of consultations are going to happen, I understand the EC, based on the directive of its own advisory committee, might be meeting the parties. Yeah. If they decide that having consulted, we are not compiling for 2020, NPP is okay.
We will disagree with them, but we respect their decision.
Okay.
Yes.
NDC says they are pulling back from the rest of the demonstrations and at least giving 1 week for some talks to happen. Your reaction to that?
I think they'll be concentrating on the ground within the 1 week.
To do what?
Because I think they need to reflect and they'll be maybe re-strategizing that in the event where we are compiling a new register, we need to have our people on the ground. So it's a strategic retreat, and that could be one. And the second thing is maybe they're running low on momentum.
That's the national organizer of the governing NPP, Samir Uku, speaking to Evans Mensah on PM Express last night. We'll have more on PM Express shortly, but let's go on the phone line and speak to David Asante. He's the convener of the Let My Vote Count Alliance. They held a press conference in Kumasi today. We're grateful for your time here on Newsnight, Mr. Asante. So the issues about cost, time and relevance are some of the reasons for those against a new voters register. Why do you think this is not a good point for them?
Thank you very much, and good evening to our listeners. Thank you for having me again. Well, we have also heard the opposition NDC raise those legitimate issues. Of course, I call them legitimate. They talked about cost, they talked about time, and then they also talked about relevance. There was an electoral register for election 2008. There was another electoral register for election 2012, compiled by the same electoral commission. And I believe all those two registers were compiled within the same electioneering year. I do not, and I still didn't think those election registers that were compiled did put any budgetary constraints on the entire finances of the country. I do not think the Electoral Commission has bulldozed her way through to get funds from the Finance Ministry. The budget for this register has been approved and disbursed. The Electoral Commission, I am reliably informed, of course, has commenced the procurement process and has set timelines to start the process of compiling an entirely new register. Well, of course, we have lived in this country in 2012 where 45 new constituencies were created a few months prior to election. The matter of cost, the matter of relevance were all not brought onto the table for discussion. I think we have adequately discussed these issues over and over again, and the proponents who are really speaking up against the creation of the new register, I think, have lost the debate. The Electoral Commission is operating within the constitutional remit. The Electoral Commission is purely kept within legal bounds in an attempt to create this genuine election.
But Mr. Santa, nobody is challenging the Electoral Commission's authority to do what it's doing. You're saying that those opposing this are getting it wrong. You're saying the 18 civil society organizations, the most credible ones we have in this country, are all wrong on this matter. You're right.
Well, what we are saying is that the last time when there was a call for the compilation of an entirely new electoral roll, the call was put on the table by civil society organizations, just like the Let My Vote Count Alliance and other majority and minority political parties.
Hey, but you're not. Is Let My Vote Count Alliance a civil society organization?
If you could allow me to proceed, I just want to establish this particular point. The call for a new voters register is put on the table not by political party stakeholders in our election, but by the election management body. These two instances are different. The commission is saying, we've done a proper introspection. They put technical reasons on the table and are saying, these are the reasons why we believe the entire register must be redone. And civil society organizations are saying, we want to dictate how you should go about your technical dealings within your entity. I think these are entirely different things. The last time, we led a movement to call for a new voters register, not questioning the workings of the Electoral Commission.
I was in this country when that was happening. You say you didn't question, but it even went beyond that. In fact, you actually, together with, as we know, the former, the vice president, the candidate then, said the EC was so wrong that there was an attempt to rig the elections. You produce evidence that you claim back the point that foreigners were on the roll.
If you could give me an opportunity to explain what I mean. Article 45 and 46 of the Constitution 1992 talks about the mandate and the independence of the Commission, which includes the management of election and the conduct of election and the compilation of new register. If the EC says, I want to compile a new register, it is the EC decision. That is different from political parties and civil society organizations calling on the EC to compile a register. We did that the last time. The EC is saying, I want to do one. The two are entirely different. We don't dictate to the commission what the commission must do. And that is what Madame Salotosai said, no, we won't do a new register. That is different from this EC saying, we want to do one. And the citizens say, no, you can't do one. Will the EC go strictly according to...
So, Mr. Asante, going by what you just said, Mr. Asante, are you then admitting that what you did back then was wrong?
Given the opportunity, if at any point in time we believe there is a wonderful and sensible suggestion that will contribute to fine-tuning our electoral processes, we will put it across. If the EC finds wisdom in it and the commission embraces it, fair enough. It took an individual to push the argument for the use of a biometric verification device. It took Mr. Nyamitiasi, a former director of research in Parliament, who took a matter to court in 2016 October, where polling station pink sheets were supposed to be displayed at the polling station. It took Abu Ramadan and Ivan Simakon, who took a matter to court, and the Supreme Court ruled and said over 4 million Ghanaians who got their names onto the electoral roll through the use of National Health Insurance card should be expunged. The EC has not done all these. we still hold on to the view there are challenges with the prevailing electoral register.
So, having said all this, Mr. Asante, having said all that, the EC has been directed to consult further, and that is currently underway. What happens if the EC backs down to the pressure?
I believe it fits into our position, a principled one, of course. What we called wrong yesterday, even though it won an election for His Excellency the President with over 1 million votes, we still believe the register needs to be replaced. We will not change or alter this position. It's a matter of principle.
We'll have to leave it here. Mr. David Asante, we are grateful for your time. He's the convener of the Let My Vote Count Alliance. Earlier today, we got to hear Cordeo for the first time on this issue. Albert Ahin is the coordinator. He's been speaking, amongst others, about the posturing and what the EC should do going forward.
I was at an APAC meeting some time back, and this issue about the voters register was raised. Apparently, there had been some meetings before, I joined that one. And there were issues about costs and other things. And it appeared to me at that time that, for example, the EC had not forwarded to the other parties the element of costs with regards to the new and the old that they were trying to either update or acquire. You see, so the consensus in the room was that each time the EC wants to do a thing like that, it would be better to, update the meeting, and that is the IPAC. So this has been what has been going on for some time now. But, Cordeo is saying that forget about all that has even happened. It is now time, because there have been the various concerns raised. Concerns from the political parties, concerns from the CSOs, and it's all about the fact that the EC is trying to acquire a new infrastructure, that is a new IT equipment. And I believe, and I think Cordeo believes even better here, that now you can easily get the cost of these items, even on the internet. So we are appealing to the EC, if it hadn't done so, to provide all these parties at the time that the meeting that we are recommending takes off, so they can have a grasp of what they are actually talking about. The cost element, because you can Google and get these prices everywhere. You see, so the element of transparency, the whole issue of the EC is on transparency, accountability, and all that. And this we should not we feel shy in pointing out to them. So if they have not done anything like that, this is the time for them to come forward with documents, with proof of what they intend doing.
You heard there, Albert Ahin is the coordinator of Cordeo.
You're still listening to Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, the Health Minister, Kweku Agyeman, says government is dissatisfied, not having met the expectations, he says, when it comes to the performance of the National Health Insurance Authority, as reimbursement of claims continue to delay. Now, he says that his personal enthusiasm in the scheme has dipped because of difficulties in getting funds to pay claims. Various service providers have repeatedly withdrawn services to NHIS cardholders because of non-payment by the NHIA. The minister, however, says work is ongoing to revamp the scheme this year. He's been speaking to Evans Mensah in a yet-to-be-aired interview on PM Express later tonight.
I have very mixed feelings. I was getting very enthused sometime last year when the numbers that I was seeing about reimbursement arrears was reducing, and it went so down. Getting close to December, I was telling the president that if what he himself and me and the finance minister sat down to agree on, if we could get funds to move, right, by close to the year, providers wouldn't complain about arrears at all. Unfortunately, the finance ministry has got challenges all the time. We couldn't get what we were supposed to be given, and therefore we were halted somewhat. And that is what made me fall back, with my enthusiasm going down a bit. But this year, I'm very optimistic that we're going to do better.
Are you talking about
last year?
Claims repayment?
The claims repayment, So I'm thinking, you wanted to come online. If you're able to do claims up to the point of only 3 months arrears, we are online. because the law allows us to do that. But we inherited close about 12 months. Now we have about 6 months in the race effectively. And I think it is good, but it's not up to the point where my president will be satisfied with. He's pushing us. And I believe by close of this year, we might move closer to where he wants us to be.
Which is a 3 month arrears.
Exactly. So definitely. Again, there are inefficiencies. I will call them programmatic. You know, in some areas, you will come across some providers who have been paid for a very long time, isolated cases. Then you try to find out what is happening. Some providers are not giving us very efficient numbers in terms of their claims. So it makes their work a bit difficult for us to actually move on. Some also delay their claims, submissions, and things like that. So you might see isolated cases where people will have been paid for about a year, have been paid for about 2 years. But when we get such cases, we investigate quickly to try to address those situations. And I believe we are improving on efficiency.
No, that's the Health Minister, Kweku Agyeman-Manu, in that interview that will be aired tonight on the Joy News channel on Multi TV, also on all our social media platforms as PM Express with Evans Mensah. Well, he's been speaking on a wide range of issues relating to health as well, and he says that policies are being crafted to ensure that more women in Ghana undergo screening to detect cervical cancer and receive treatment to avoid death. Currently, 1,500 women die each year as a result of cervical cancer, which can be avoided if detected early, as reviewed in the Joy News documentary Cervix in Crisis. He tells Evans Mensah in that interview that attention is being paid to non-communicable diseases, especially cervical cancer.
We should be disturbed about all other ailments, but there are certain areas where we can prevent certain diseases. When we detect quite early, we can treat, and we call them avoidable deaths. Shouldn't be entertained and encouraged at all. So we need to actually get ourselves into positions like that. We facilitate people. We facilitate ourselves to prevent some of these offenses. We have started actually seriously working on our cancer, non-communicable diseases policy, especially cancers, and virtually completed. We have partnered with an international organization that works with WHO, and they have helped us. They've selected Kumasi as part of their Cancer City Challenge project, and they brought in some innovative ways of us trying to look at what things that we can do to actually stop the menace. So we have a good committee of oncologists and other health professionals who are working to advise on what steps that we should go. We've identified several things. We are looking at the best sure bet should be screening, and therefore we are trying to craft policies that will push all of us to go screening. Elsewhere, it's compulsory. Japan, for example, Canada, for example, women are asked to go screening at least once every year for some of these things. And I think these are things that we may eventually want to introduce into our system.
So get tested, and Emefa, you say you want to do so
this weekend.
So if you listen to the interview, he also talks about what government is trying to do to make the cost of screening disappear and borne by the NHIS, but also reduce what you have to pay if you want to get treated under the NHIS as well. Let's stay with health.
Yeah, because health officials in Ghana have begun enhanced screening of passengers from China into the country as part of measures to prevent an outbreak of the deadly coronavirus disease here. This evening, Chinese officials have confirmed 8 more deaths from the disease, bringing the death toll to 17, with more than 500 cases recorded so far. The disease has already spread to 6 countries, including the United States, Japan, and South Korea. This evening, a WHO emergency meeting is underway in Geneva to decide if it should decide if the Chinese strain of coronavirus, cousin of the deadly SARS virus, is a public health emergency of international concern. Now, some measures have been introduced to prevent its spread. We'll bring you details of that shortly. But first, listen to Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Bedusa Akodie, on this particular issue.
We are not concerned as much as the new virus was no immunity at all from the general population, and the way we are recording quite a number of cases, and then the death toll keep increasing, is a major concern. Indeed, the time that we were providing the release, we had globally there were 4 deaths. We are here at the KIA, and the indication that we have is that out of 500 cases, This includes 17 deaths, and the death toll keeps rising. This is a major concern. And if you look at how frequent the people in China interact with us as a country, there are a lot of activities that send people from Ghana to China and vice versa. So we are much concerned. Our preparedness at various levels, at individual level, and then at the leadership level, where you have to put in measures to prevent and protect against. At individual level, that's part of what we are doing now. General operation, probation, provision. But then we also have the responsibility to put in measures to prevent cross-border transmission. And we are strengthening mechanisms to screen up the people that are coming from the affected area when they are in any of our points of entry. And we hope that if we do all these things well, we'll be in position to prevent and protect against. And in the unlikely event, should it happen, we'll be in position to take it early to deal with it and contain it at source.
You had Dr. Bedu Sarkodie.
And this is important for everybody to learn. And myself, I am beginning to learn a bit more about the symptoms to look out for. When you see that, a few things you need to quickly do. We'll share with you shortly. The virus can make people sick, usually with a mild to moderate upper respiratory tract illness, similar to common cold. So that's the first thing to look out for. Mm-hmm. Now, the symptoms, when you look at that, you probably notice runny nose, cough, sore throat, possibly headache as well, maybe a fever, which can last for a couple of days. And so pay attention to that. It also says, and this is all WHO guidelines, it says you also may have, for those who have weakened immune system, the elderly and the very young, there's a chance the virus could cause a lower and much more serious respiratory tract illness like pneumonia or bronchitis. Now, there is a handful of human coronaviruses that are known to be deadly, and this very one is very deadly, killing 9 people so far. And so please watch out for some of these key symptoms I just told you about.
And in the last few minutes, we know that the death toll has risen to 17 with 500 cases recorded. Now, here's how you can prevent it, Evans. You can wash your hands regularly with soap and water, and then hand rubbing with alcohol is also advised where available. Now, keep a distance of at least 1 step from a person showing signs of fever, cough, and difficulty in breathing, because you've been coughing in the last few minutes and since yesterday. So I'll take you to the hospital after this, so we check. And I
just have I think it's the Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm getting it too, so I think we should check it. And if we come in contact with a sick person or with potentially infected surfaces or objects or cares, those involved must not touch their eyes, nose, or mouth with unwashed hands. And it is advisable to be physically active, drink plenty of fluids, eat well, reduce stress, and have enough sleep. And then finally, people should seek treatment immediately if infection is suspected, if symptoms occur, or when advised by a health worker.
Reduce stress.
Yes, reduce stress.
And have more sleep.
And then eat well.
And eat well. I like those 2 things, Pa.
I don't
reduce
qualify
stress
that angle.
And sleep well. My boss is listening.
Yes, he is.
He is. Well, but this is not coronavirus. It's But take those points seriously. We are as well, and so take those points absolutely seriously. And there are measures already that have been rolled out by the Ghana Health Service at the points of entry. That is an attempt to check this, including screening of Chinese nationals who are arriving into Ghana. We have a peculiar situation because there's a lot of Chinese nationals already in the country, and more coming as well. There's those who suggest that around this time they go for they travel back to China for holidays, and a lot of them will be coming back as well. And so this is the time to be vigilant wherever you are. It's time for business, and Charles Aite is here with the latest. And when we return, we would hear later the Akan proverb and its sudden popularity this week.
Wofo do pa na ye pay na. Can I start over? Can I get a do over? Sorry. Wofo do pa na ye pia wo.
Wofo do pa na ye pia.
Oh,
we'll hear that.
I was lost.
I know.
Yeah.
Charles Aite was too. What's in business, Charles?
All right, so coming up in business, Ghana Stock Exchange closes deal with London counterparts to aid listing and raising of funds by local firms on the international market. We'll hear from the managing director of the GSC on this matter. Also, how better has local businesses performed after years of the Ghana International Trade Fair show? We have answers from the chief executive of the Trade Fair Company as the 24th edition kicks off in Tamale. Business on News 9 is brought to you by MTN. Welcome to a new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, number one-stop shop for all office essential. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Hello, Lieutenant. Thank you for showing up at our monthly meeting. I have some good news for you today. Electricity credit, Hey! Oh, relax. I am not increasing it. I just want you to know, from today, you have your own meter. So now you buy exactly what you want to use. Flexi bundling.
What's the customize, Anna?
Oh, yes. Just like that. And it doesn't expire too.
Life is good with MTN Flexi Bundle. Now you have full control to pick and choose your very own bundle packages. Whether you want to bundle 3 pesos, 20 pesos, 20 cities, 30 pesos, or even 115 cities, we dare for you. Just dial *138# or *170# to enter any amount. And bingo, you are good to go. So go ahead and enjoy bundles that don't expire. That's why we're good together. We dare for you everywhere you go.
Mr. Barr has big dreams for his business, Barr & Co. Limited, and his family, making them a reality man to long drives and queues. He's lost precious time struggling to pay his suppliers in China, Turkey, India, and other parts of the world. With the First National Bank global payment via our online banking enterprise, he now pays for all that in the convenience of his home or office, giving him time to focus on family and growing his business. Use our online banking enterprise to access Forex when you need it. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank. How can we help you?
We give you nothing but the best. We stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
We know it's important to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in your employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is regulated and licensed by the National Health Insurance Authority to provide medical insurance services to institutional clients, families, and individuals. Apex Student Package and International Medical Solutions are all here to cushion you. Visit Apex Health Insurance Office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, or call
0501-683-914
or 0232-000-015. In Kumasi, we are located opposite Prempeh College, Sofo Line, and in Takoradi, Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
And you're welcome to Business on Newsnight. Now, Ghanaian businesses from now on should be able to list and trade on the London Stock Exchange following the signing of a technical partnership program between Ghana and the London Stock Exchange. The deal would also help develop the Ghanaian bond market and assist local firms raise long-term funds from the international market. Ekwa Fedzi is the managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange. He spoke to Joy Business at the just-ended Ghana Investment and Opportunities Summit in London.
One is to try and facilitate the transition of Ghana Stock Exchange from a frontier market by classification to an emerging market. When that happens, the market becomes more attractive to some international investors, some domestic investors, as well as entrepreneurs. There are some fund managers who will not touch frontier markets. So it's a huge thing that we need to do, transform ourselves from a frontier market to an emerging market. Then secondly, we're going to work together to deepen our domestic bond market so that we can improve upon our local currency bond issuances. We have some cross listings that opens the space up to a larger pool of funds all over the place, and that will also help develop our bond market so that we can have Ghana Infrastructure Fund and other institutions raising the money by doing bonds, both locally and internationally, with the cost of the corporation. Then thirdly, help or provide capacity building to improve the professionalism in our industry. They have a very well-established academy, and we're going to work together with them to build the capacity of our professionals in the industry.
Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Ekwa Afeji, speaking to Joy Business in London at the just-ended Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit. Away from that, Senior Portfolio Manager of EcoBank Development Corporation Investment, Emmanuel Owusu, says the apprehensiveness that accompanied the banking sector cleanup may finally be blowing off. According to him, the cleanup has led to more robust financial system to better handle big-ticket transactions.
We have a fund that we manage, which is the EDC Ghana Fixed Income Unit Trust, which has grown over the years because we think that people are saving more. But it can be better because you need savings to be able to develop an economy. Economy thrives on savings, and if you look at all the advanced economies, they've been able to develop because they've mobilized a lot more savings in the economy, and that is exactly what we need to let it happen over time.
Senior Portfolio Manager of EcoBank Development Corporation Investment, Emmanuel Owusu there. Now, the Northern Regional Capital of Tamale is expected to host the 24th edition of the Ghana International Trade Fair this year, focusing on value addition and going global. Hundreds of small and medium-scale enterprises are expected to display their wares as they get exposed to some investment opportunities and loan facilities from banks. But how have local businesses performed over the years under the International Trade Fair show? Joy Business has been finding out from the Chief Executive of the Ghana International Trade Fair Company, Dr. Agnes Edu.
I've seen a lot of improvement in Ghana, made in Ghana, from our normal chocolate to textiles to manufacturing. I've seen packaging take a leap. I mean, I've seen made in Ghana packaging that 4 years ago, people were selling things in clear containers, bacteria. Now you go to stores, you go to farmers markets, popping up all over the place, and made in Ghana manufacturing has become almost to international standard, or even I can say up to international standard. How we package our goods, how we even make the sanitary environment. I think now this government has made it okay to say, I am proud to be Ghanaian, I am proud to consume made in Ghana, and then the industry has also come along in saying we are going to up our game and we are going to compete.
Chief Executive of the Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited, Dr. Agnes Edu, Emefa.
Thank you very much, Charles Aite, with the latest from the world of business. Now, there was joy for family and friends of Senior Police Officer ACP Benjamin Agojo when an Accra High Court granted him a self-recognizance bail after months of unsuccessful attempts to secure one. The joy has been short-lived as he remains in police custody after almost 48 hours. He was arrested on allegations he aided a group plotting to overthrow the Akufo-Addo government. Listen to his brother, Cephas Agojo, raising concerns about the situation on the Pulse with Gifty and Rapia.
Yes, he's still with the police.
Why?
After ruling yesterday, the judge said it's a self-recognizance bill. So he was asked to deposit his passport, which he did yesterday. We came back and then they were called again to bring him back to the court to sign the bail. They called the police and they refused to send him, and he cannot go on his own to the court from custody. The whole of today, they refused to go take him to the court to sign the bail, and we still don't understand why. The council tried to reach them, but they are not responding to his call. That is why we now believe that it's no more prosecution, it's persecution. They are just trying to persecute ACP Dr. Agojo for no apparent reason. If you have any reason, the court has given a ruling. What is your problem? With self-recognizance bail, the ban is just to deposit his passport, which he did willingly just after the ruling yesterday. Bring him back to come and sign the bill has become a problem to Ghana Police Service. From the court, I can't be in the same vehicle of the police that brought him to court. So they took him back to custody. I went there, met him at the custody. Then they came for him and now brought him back to the court. Since the judge demand that he should surrender his passport to the High Court registrar. So the police took him there. He did that. They brought him back. Then they called again from the court that they should bring him to come and sign the bill. And they refused. If it's not refusal from yesterday up to today, why didn't they take him back to the court to go and sign? 4th November, he went on his own. Nobody arrested him. And after interrogation, you say you are going to detain him. Up to today, court has given ruling to you don't want to obey the court ruling. Is it not persecution?
That's a brother of ACP Benjamin Agojo. That's a Cephas Agojo. Well, information that we are picking up indicates that the senior police officer may be granted the bail tomorrow after all the toss and turns. His lawyers say all his bail conditions have been satisfied, and ACP Agojo has handed his passport over to the registrar of the High Court per the bail terms, and we're keeping a close eye on that.
It was an accident that left him with severe leg injuries. So for him, it's only a miracle that he survived and is able to walk again. Deputy Communications Minister George Anda spent 14 days at the 37 Military Hospital after his car was involved in a head-on collision with a tipper truck in the Ewutu Senya West constituency of the Central Region. Other occupants of his vehicle suffered various injuries. As Joy News launches its road safety campaign, Arrive Alive, which has been trending all day, Mr. Anda shared this story on the Super Morning Show.
The tipper truck driver came back. I think he was sort of swerving, trying to. He probably must have lost control. And for me, that's the last thing that I remember of that accident. The next, I remember I was in the back of an Abubuya. My head was on the lap of my bodyguard, and I asked him what was going on. I was feeling some very severe pain in my leg, and he said we were involved in an accident and we were going to the hospital. So apparently God must have sent an Abubuya, because there was no one on the road. The Abubuya driver came around. He decided to put us in the back of his bucket to St. Gregory's Hospital. And I was in and out of consciousness at that time. So we ended up at St. Gregory Hospital, and we were giving first aid. Then we made contact with family. We made contact with people from Jubilee House. The doctors at St. Gregory made contact with 37, and they agreed that I had to be airlifted as soon as possible because of the condition that I was in. Apparently, I was deteriorating.
Now, we'll tell you a bit about the Joy News campaign, Arrive Alive. It's a road safety campaign, and it comes in the wake of deadly crash in the Central Region, which killed 34 people, including an 8-month-old baby. In fact, the figure is only a fraction of the 2,000 lives lost each year to road accidents. Mr. Anda says he will support the campaign.
You have all my support. I mean, I'm fully on board this campaign. Any role that you want me to play, I will play. But I think that there are a number of things. First is the education of drivers. We need to make sure that all drivers are educated. I mean, it's not just about you who's driving being careful, but it's also about the other driver. There's also the issue of emergency responses. I mean, when accidents like this happen, sometimes in the way people are carried, it even makes it more complicated. And one aspect that we probably know that is also the situation where people that are physically challenged go through. I mean, I have been through quite a lot of things that I took for granted when I was fully able, since I have had this challenge. I mean, even traveling, it's a bit of a problem. Walking upstairs, I mean, when in places that don't have lifts, looking for parking. And I think that these are things that we need to take a bit more seriously. I remember we were once in Parliament in a committee meeting, and then the fire alarm went off, and I was extremely stranded because you couldn't use a lift when the fire was out. So I had to go and stand on some corridor, and if indeed that was going to be a proper fire, you could imagine what would have happened. So some of all these situations must be addressed, not just because of an accident, but because we need to prepare properly for these situations.
And that's the Deputy Communications Minister, George Anda, joining the Arrive Alive campaign launched by Joy News. As part of the campaign, my colleague Roland Walker today visited the VIP bus station here in Accra and interacted with passengers and drivers on safety on our roads. Listen.
Generally, how are passengers aware about safety? We will speak to a number of the passengers. We'll also get to ask them whether they are aware about safety-related issues. As passengers, as drivers, etc., not only for VIP, you are generally aware about safety on the road.
Yeah, we are aware about the safety.
So basically, what do you know about safety being on the road?
Yeah, as a driver, on your way going, you have to know where to park. You have to know this place is dangerous place, whether you have to do overtaking or not. So whether there is safety or not safety, you the driver, you have to make sure that you have to drive well and make sure that you save the passengers and the vehicle.
Joseph, why do you take maybe not only VIP but the long buses, etc.? What's the first decision point for you?
I actually don't consider. I take anything which is available.
Anything goes for you?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, but are you aware about yourself, road safety issues, etc., when you're as a passenger? Are you conscious?
Yeah, definitely. It's the first thing you have to consider when taking a bus.
Okay, so what usually are you conscious of? Not only the bus, but maybe the trotro, etc. What usually are you conscious of when you take, when you are first selecting, but now you say you don't, you just take randomly what comes. But when you're on a bus or a truck, what do you consider?
Like example, for taking this VIP bus, I think it's more safe. And also when you see the appearance of the bus, you have to know whether it's more safe to take it or not. And I think VIP generally it's a good bus to take. Yeah.
I'm not you only related. You've taken many commercial vehicles up to now, so I'm sure just your general perception. But look, sometimes you can see a very well sprayed or decorated commercial bus. They say, don't mind the body, mind the engine. Is that something that rings in your mind?
Yeah, that is something difficult to also know, because mostly we just watch the appearance of the bus.
So what if a driver is speeding?
Okay, in this case, I think you have to find a way to let the driver know.
Anti-test. So one kasa as a passenger no say wo fro basa and say wo fro trotro mpo a nkranhye na utimi nya sa say maybe bus ya mafree and say trotro ya mafree maybe driver yi betimi akaka na kama ekosi na wie ya na bebia meko no na metimi edu asomdwem.
Oh, okay. Me VIP there, me jo omudi. Ni say omo kaka, omo fan ko speed. And I was a kwan bi time omo so omudi bedu kama. Ti me feel say omo car can there okay.
Na so far trotro so.
Me fa tro.
Nti say what for trotra driver na ye speed and I say oko speed wa ka kire ni say bema mpacho di ulemu.
Me fa tro ai.
What is that another?
Me fa tro.
No modu.
And that's my colleague Roland Walker interacting with drivers and passengers alike at the VIP bus station. And the Arrive Alive is trending on Twitter. At the last check, it was at least number 1 most of your tweets. I will take most of them, Evans. This one from Anna Limbe A. Chris. It says, I fully endorse and support the Arrive Alive campaign, RT ASAP. You have some?
Foster says, kill your speed before it kills you. We also have a few of your messages also, just responding to a few of the things that had been said on that particular, Ms. Otu says, great, Arrive Alive. Foster says, just last month, 21st, I nearly lost my life and that of my kids thanks to an Abuboya. His reason, he was dodging a pothole and accidentally came into my lane. Just 3 days back, another reckless driver from another Abuboya left me with this cost, and he's also uploaded pictures of that accident, and you could see the side of his vehicle ripped apart as a result of the impact. And Foster, thank you very much, and he's tweeting with the hashtag Arrive Alive.
And Manuel Cranton says Ghana recorded 46,284 accident-related deaths between 1991 and 2018, a 1,714 yearly average. This is more than the 40,528 seats in Babayara Stadium were killed, a stadium full of spectators without negligence. Be woke. And he says hashtag Arrive Alive.
Johat says don't drink and drive.
And Dr. T says driving sleepy can be just as dangerous as driving drunk. Sleepiness impairs a person's attention, working memory, and coordination skills, all crucial for safe driving. Hashtag Arrive Alive.
Let's do sports now, and Benedict is here. Benedict, you drive?
Yes, I do, and I tweeted 3 hours ago that get our street lights working for all of us to arrive alive.
Benedict will have to change his microphone. And you say you were...
Yeah, so I also tweeted, that was 3 hours ago.
Apologies for that.
Yeah, I tweeted 3 hours ago that get our street lights working for all of us to arrive alive.
Okay.
Yeah. That's also very important.
Very important.
And a very interesting one also from Around the Fish. It says blood is supposed to be donated to hospitals, not on our roads. Overspeeding kills, so do bad roads. Hashtag Arrive Alive.
Yeah. We talk about roadworthiness of vehicles, but are the roads themselves, streets, worthy? What do you have in sports?
Well, we are just 5 days away to the biggest game here on the local scene, and it is the super clash between Accra Folk and Asante Kotoko. Now, both teams won their last games in a grand style. Hearts came from a go down to beat Liberty Professionals, with Asante Kotoko also leaving it very late to beat Dwarfs 2-0 in Kumasi. And our Hearts board member Alhaji Ankabi is hopeful of a good result on Sunday.
Oh no, it's going to be a tough game, between Hearts and Kotoko. It's always a difficult game, but I can tell you, I'm sure, with prayers, I'm sure we'll scale through.
For the past seasons, the Accra Stadium has been a favorable ground for Asante Kotoko, and of course, it's another season.
Oh, that one has nothing to do. I'm happy you've seen the caliber of players we're having. We did some few recruitment just about last week, and you could see the team has changed entirely. So believe me, it's not going to be a cheap game on come Sunday.
So that was Alhaji Ankabi. He's a board member of Accra Heart of Folk. Now, Black Stars coach Siki Akona has reacted to Ghana's 2022 World Cup qualifier draw. Now, the Black Stars have been paired with South Africa, Ethiopia, and Zimbabwe. Now, coach Siki believes hard work will see the team through to the final round of the qualifiers.
I know everybody is a desire for every team to qualify. We'll put in the hard work to qualify. Ghana is a great football nation, and it is our dream to get to the World Cup. Saying this, we know all the teams, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and others, will do their bit to get there, but we'll put in hard work, and we know that hard work pays. The last one we went was Brazil. We didn't qualify for the day, so we are hoping and believing that this is the time for us to do it. But then it's important that we put in hard work. It is a desire, like I said, desire for all these teams to qualify, but we will put a lot of work on the desire to work hard and to achieve that.
So that was Black Stars coach Siki Akona. Of course, after last night's round of matches in the English Premier League, tonight we've got 3 games to come. Now, Leicester City will be at the King Power Stadium to play against West Ham United, and Tottenham will be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to play Norwich, and then Manchester United, Evans and Emefa You're struggling Manchester United home to Burnley.
Thank you, Benedict. Now, the Inspector General of Police, James Opombuenu, has announced its 10,000 Ghana cedis reward to any person who gives credible information leading to the arrest of suspected armed robbers who shot and killed a policeman, Lance Corporal Kingsley Boyhene, and also wounded 2 others. Now, this was after the IGP led a delegation to the area to conduct preliminary investigations following reports of numerous robberies in the area. Central Regional Police PRO Irene Opon has been speaking to Joy News.
In 2020, the Mangatene Divisional Patrol Team had a distress call that there was a robbery incident going on at Mangatene, a filling station called Zane, also located at Mangatene. Police proceeded to the scene and there was exchange of fire between police and then the suspected robbers. There was a reinforcement from the divisional headquarters to help others, but then the robbers were able to escape. Around the same day, 4 a.m., police had an information that community members within the area have heard another gunshot. They came and unfortunately, one of their own who wasn't on duty, but then who was in civil dress, had been shot along the street. Currently, the deceased, Lance Corporal Kingsley Boyhene, the body has been deposited at the Cape Coast Kitchen Wharf, and we are waiting for examination. And police has also intensified our investigations.
And our condolences to the family of the deceased police officer.
And those injured as well. We wish them a speedy recovery.
Well, let's attempt to put a smile on your face just before we end on the back of that tragic news.
The Tree language seems to be gaining some international recognition among diplomats.
Especially in the wake of Ghana, what's the thing we did last year?
Year of
Return. Now we are in the beyond the return.
Beyond the year of return.
Yeah.
So it was first the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He received a loud applause on Monday when he quoted a popular Kan proverb in Satya Nyina Nyepe, while acknowledging the proverbs are pregnant with wisdom. Listen.
There is no shortage of governments out there touting for your business. But in the words of an old Akan proverb that I picked up in Ghana, all fingers are not the same. There's wisdom in these Akan proverbs. All fingers are not the same and all countries are not the same. And the UK boasts a breadth and a depth of expertise that simply cannot be matched by any other nation.
I was hoping he would actually say it in the Akan language. Guess who attempted to do just that? That is the U.S. ambassador. Maybe she heard it and thought, well, this is the challenge. Let me see if I can do better. This was her attempt. Was it today? That is Stephanie Sullivan, who is the U.S. ambassador to Ghana.
Thank you again to everyone for your attendance today and for the work you have done and will continue to do to make SGI a concept that we can all support. I think this Akan expression captures the status well, and bear with me as I try to say it in Twi. Wofo dua pa na yepe na. Can I start over? Can I get a do-over? Sorry. Wofo dua pa na pia wo.
Yeah.
Wofo Diapa na piano. And she did well. I mean, she just on the second try, she got it through.
We are waiting for the next ambassador who will take up the challenge.
The Chinese ambassador.
Okay, let's see. You never know.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah, and that's it for tonight's edition of Newsnight. Thanks so much for your company. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Now, Shoko and the team are up next, and we're talking cervical cancer. I am Emefa Apawu.
And my name is Evans Mensah. Enjoy the rest of your evening.